Yes, Casanovians. All right, so I want to go deep on this stream. I want to get super transparent, super vulnerable. Um, so this live stream actually was inspired by JMW Turner. I don't know if you know him. He's an artist. So there's a painting that he painted. It's called Snowstorm, Steamboat off a Harbour's Mouth, exhibited 1842. So the description of this painting is as follows. This is one of Turner's most daring paintings. In a battle between modern machine and nature, a steamboat faces a blizzard. Its black fumes join the whirling vortex of snow and sea. Turner claimed he got the sailors to lash me to the mast to observe the storm for 4 hours. So Turner is famous for tying himself to the mast of a ship and venturing into the eye of a storm. This will all make sense in a little while, by the way. Although it can't be proven, it shows that Turner wanted us to see this dizzying scene as an authentic record. When he heard it had been ridiculed as soapsuds and whitewash, he responded, and this is the important thing, I did not paint it to be understood, but to show what such a scene was like. So I'm not creating this live stream necessarily to be understood. I'm not creating this live stream to appear holier than thou. This is not a what I want you to do or what you should do. This is simply a what I am doing. Yeah, it's not a how to, it's a how I. But I did not paint it to be understood, but to show what such a scene was like. So really what this speaks to is emotional bravery. Yeah, being emotionally brave, just putting it all out there and saying to the world, this is me, take it or leave it. Yeah, I think we live in an age now where everyone wants to masquerade as these personifications of perfection. I've done it, you've done it, we've all done it. Yeah, imagine two people who are on a date with one another. They're not starting off that date being emotionally brave or esoterically transparent. They want to convey the best version of them because we want the other person to like us. And this is why I believe most people get into relationships with strangers. Most people marry a stranger because at the start of this relationship, we are posturing and presenting ourselves in a certain way rather than having the emotional bravery to just show up and be like, yeah, this is me, take it or leave it. This is me. Like what you see is what you get. Yeah. And I think really what I want this live stream to function as is me blazing a trail for you to live more in tune and more connected to yourself, like to actually have the emotional bravery to tie yourself to the metaphorical mast of the ship and surrender for your art form. Yeah, rather than trying to be everything to everybody, rather than trying to be a people pleaser, rather than just imitating and regurgitating what you've heard online, actually being an independent thinker and having the emotional bravery to make your own decisions. Yeah, that's what masculinity is. It's being your own man, making your own decisions and saying, yeah, this is me, judge me. Yeah, blessings on your courage, boy. That's the way to the stars. So let's talk about how porn ruined my life. So I started watching pornography around 12 or 13 years old. So it was when I went into high school and porn became this buzzword around the playground. Yeah, all of the kids were talking about porn. Like, oh bro, what porn do you watch? Have you seen this? Like all this like esoteric terminology, which I had no idea what people were talking about. But I didn't like this. I didn't like the fact that I didn't know what this thing was, right? People were talking about porn. I felt as though they were more intellectually evolved than I was. And if you know anything about my upbringing, you'll know that I hated the spotlight. I hated attention. And my biggest fear in high school, once I started hearing this word porn, my biggest fear was being in the playground or being in the classroom and being put on the spot, being like, Kristian, do you know what porn is? Do you watch porn? What's your favorite porn? Oh, you don't know what porn is? You're so weird. So I was caving into this perceived peer pressure. So I went home that evening and I was researching porn like it was a Bitcoin white paper. So a little bit of background. I didn't have any friends growing up. I didn't have any romantic connections. I was a sniveling social fucking misfit. I hated the spotlight and I hated attention. So I used to spend a lot of time with my aunt, all right? So I went around to my aunt's house after school. She was my only friend. We played Call of Duty and FIFA together. So we used to like 1v1 each other on Rust. That sounds fucking wrong. But like, if you know Rust, you know Modern Warfare 2 represent. So yeah, I used to go around to her house and I used to play like Modern Warfare, and I would also like stay over at her house, sometimes on the weekdays and sometimes at the weekends. Anyway, I had my own bedroom at her house, right? So I would go into the spare bedroom and she would give me her laptop, right? She would give me her laptop. This is me at 13 years old, wanting to discover this world of porn. Obviously, I didn't tell her, oh yeah, like give me a laptop. I want to go on browsers. But anyway, she gave me a laptop for the evening because she's like, if you wanna watch something, then use my laptop. Like I think she had two laptops. Fuck knows why she had two laptops. My auntie's actually got half a brain, which is fucking weird because she's a member of Mensa. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She's an incredible woman. So she gifted me her laptop in the evenings, and this opened the floodgates for my pornographic journey. Yeah, so I've been hearing about porn at school. I didn't want to be that kid who got blacklisted or the black sheep. You don't even know what porn is. Like, what are you talking about? So I went onto a laptop and I started researching. Yeah, I started diving into the rabbit hole of pornography. And this is when my life just started to get really screwed up. Yeah, and I think this is true for the majority of us. I think pornography robs children of their childhoods. Yeah, I was 13 years old. I was going on to these porn sites, and my brain, yeah, my young brain was being bombarded by all of this stimulation. I was like, when you like hover over like one of the windows and it's like, oh fuck, it's actually a video. Like, what are these two people doing? Like, why is this guy's knob the size of a fucking foot long sub? Like, oh my god, that girl's naked. I've never seen a naked woman before. And obviously things start to happen downstairs. Yeah, my body starts reacting to the stimulation, and you'll know it yourself. Like, it's a very powerful sensation, especially when you're young. And I felt so enticed by it. Yeah, so I started watching it. Obviously, the blood started to flow down there, and then I had this inclination to start touching myself. Now, at the start of, we'll just say, my porn journey, yeah, I thought the end game of masturbation was you just rubbed it for a long time and then you got like a little bit of pre-cum and then that was it. That's all I thought that masturbation was. I didn't realize if you kept going, you were gonna have this volcanic eruption of ecstasy. Like, I hadn't got to that stage yet. Like, I was like, right, I know what porn is now. Yeah, I can I can hold my own in a playground discussion. Yeah, the playground politics are not going to affect me. If someone's like, yeah, Christian, like, what porn site are you using? Like, what porn are you watching? Like, and I dread to think that, like, I dread to think now how bad it is for children. Like, when I go to cafes or bars or restaurants, if there's like a family, children are being shunted screens into their face, right? It's like the screen has become the new pacifier. So I discovered porn at 13, but I guarantee that children as young as 6 or 7 are now falling into this world of pornography. Yeah, having their brains being so sexualized. These hyper visual stimulation and images. Like, what is that doing to the minds of our young generation? Yeah. So this was me. Yeah, I was on my porn journey. And then one time in year 7, which is like the first year of high school, we go in this residential, which was my fucking nightmare. Because that meant I had to actually, I think, how long was a resident? I think the residential was for a whole week. So I had to go and spend time with all these fucking cretins who I didn't like for an entire week, and I was stuck in this dorm room with 8 other boys, right? Most of who I just didn't like. I hated that whole residential. Anyway, one night we all started discussing. Well, I wasn't. I was just lying on my bed, being like, I hope these fuckers go to sleep soon, so I don't have to talk to them. Anyway, they started talking about porn, and in my mind, I felt somewhat at ease because I knew what they were talking about. Like, I knew if the conversation shifted towards me, I could just say something which suggested that I knew that I was in on it. Yeah, I was in on the fucking porn, the porn pill, like taking the porn pill. So all was good with the world. But then they started talking about masturbation, and they started talking about this, to get very graphic, this hot, milky liquid that was coming out of the knobs. And I was thinking to myself, wait, mine's pretty clear, and it doesn't shoot out like these guys are describing it. Yeah, so they'd experienced what full on ejaculation was like. Right, they were watching the porn at 13 years old, wanking themselves off, and then boom, they had that volcanic eruption of ecstasy. And then one of the conversations was like, oh yeah, how much of your cum can you put inside of a glass? Like just the weird shit that children talk about. Anyway. So like they got to me and I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I can fill up a glass with like cum. Huh, funny. It's like a scene from like, you ever watch Peep Show? It's like fucking David Mitchell being like, oh yeah, cum, masturbation, I've completed it. But yeah, I didn't know what was going on here. And from what I gathered in the conversation, there was more to masturbation than just pre-cum. So anyway, a couple of weeks later, I was still going around at my auntie's house. I was still, Call of Duty, 1v1 on Rust, Barrett 50 cal, then go to my room, get on the porn. And then one night, I remember doing it. I still remember it to this day. I just... Hey, when you just find a scene which you particularly like, and I was just like, I remember standing up, like the bed was here. I remember standing there. I was like almost like hunched over, like fucking Quasimodo, and I was like looking at the screen, and I was just like, I remember just saying to myself, let's just keep going, and then the whole it all just shot out, and that was my first experience of ejaculating via porn. Yeah, and like I said, this opened up the floodgates, right? I was 1 million. That in that moment, my entire childhood, in my opinion, was over, and I became hooked on pornography. Yeah, and I'm looking back now at that former version of myself, and I have pity. I have pity for him as a child, because the reason being is I really, and this is me learning out loud as well. These are conversations that I've been having with myself the past couple of days to really understand myself more. And I'm using this live stream not to be this figure of authority, but to talk to you as a brother. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself, right? So just understand that. I'm not trying to be like holier than thou or whatever. Everything that I'm saying is advice that I'm giving to myself. Porn, it became this escape. Yeah, like I didn't have friends, I didn't have social connections. My best friend was my fucking aunt, and it's not like I could talk to her about it because she didn't even know what I was doing with her laptop. I knew how to delete my browsing history, so for all she knows, I was just watching fucking Peppa Pig. I wasn't watching that. I'm not going to go down that route. Oh, Peppa. But the point being was I was using porn as an escape to escape the reality which I hated so much. Yeah, for a big portion of my adolescent life, I felt completely irrelevant. I hated myself. I hated people. I didn't really feel anything. Yeah, but with pornography, this new sensation that I discovered, it gave me this release, and in a weird way, it also made me feel connected to the feminine. Yeah, I think that this is why pornography, like excessive pornographic consumption, feels so deflating. Yeah, because that sensation of you releasing your God-given life energy should be with another human being. So when that happens, your brain perceives it as our biological imperative has been complete. We must have procreated with an incredible mate, but you're just on your own with a box of Kleenex or a fucking sock, just wiping up the evidence. Yeah, that's why I would feel like such a loser. I didn't know it at the time, but I have pity. Yeah, I have pity for that version of myself because I was only 13 years old. But really, and this is a point in the live stream where I do want to talk to you as an individual. Like, if you're a grown man and you have a porn addiction, porn is not the problem. The problem is your inability to control your impulses. I was pretty harsh to myself the other day because. Well, my way of thinking is at any point I could have just stopped watching it. I could have just stopped. Yeah, so I've titled this "Porn Ruined My Life," but I don't want to be one of those people who outsources responsibility onto external stimuli. Yeah, I was choosing all of this. Like I was choosing to take the laptop to browse the porn. You could argue that at 13 years old, I simply haven't developed the emotional mastery to know myself, and I appreciate that. But what I'm saying here is porn is not the issue. It's us. We're the problem, right? No one is coming to save us. Porn is not the problem. It's your inability to control your impulses. Yeah, and the reason why this became such a vicious cycle for me at this age was it created unrealistic expectations of what sex actually was, like what sex actually meant, right? I'm 27 years old now, and my entire ideology and mindset and worldview, they've really shifted, especially this year. I feel like a completely different person. I'm in a position in my life now where I believe in the sacred communion between the masculine and the feminine. I'm not some like woo-woo abstract bullshit teacher. I'm a practical man. I like practical solutions, but we'll get onto that. Like the juicy bit is still to come because I'm gonna talk more about a certain thing which I think is gonna resonate with you. So continue watching until we get there. But porn porn gave me unrealistic expectations of sex. Yeah, I was living vicariously through people that I was seeing on screen, guys who had these 10 out of 10 exotic Adonis bodies, like fucking like 12-inch knobs. The girls are all plastic fantastic, like just really like hypersexualized, objectified. Like the image, like it's with porn for my young mind, like this was like these were the first naked bodies that I'd seen. Yeah, and it's like I was looking at the guys on screen, then I was looking at myself in the mirror, I was looking at the girls on screen, then I was looking at the girls in my class, and this hypersexualization of my brain, I didn't realize how much it was actually screwing me up until I got into my first relationship. So at 18 years old, I was living in Liverpool. I was in university. It was my first year. I vacated my small town in the Lake District of 60,000 people. And now I was in the big city of Liverpool. Yeah, a big part of going to Liverpool was I wanted to recreate myself. Yeah, I think this is why university can be a good thing. If you're in the position that I was, where you're in that small minded town, it's a good way. Like I just saw it as my golden ticket towards freedom. I didn't really go for the academic. I didn't go for the academia. I just went for like the life evolvement. But anyway, whatever. We can talk about university a different time. Is it good? Is it bad? Who fucking knows? But yeah, when I got there, I was living in halls of residence. There's about 15 people, I think, in my hall. So it was this big social buzz environment. So I had to get confident quickly. I had to be able to hold my own in this environment. I really struggled when I first went to university. I remember bawling my eyes out when my mum dropped me off, and I was like, I really don't think I can do this. I remember the exact words that I said to her. I was sat in my room on my bed, and I said to her, I don't feel confident. I don't feel confident right now. And it's crazy. Like this was me 18. And now me at 27, it's like, people meet me now, see my stuff online. It's just night and day, which is why I'm trying to get across in these live streams. The way you start is not the way that you finish. Yeah, it doesn't happen by luck, it happens by design. If you've got an idea of the person you want to be, I've got full fucking faith that you can do it, but your actions must match your ambitions. Yeah, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. That's a little rant, but it's important. So I get to university, and this girl, my first girlfriend, just takes a liking to me. I have no idea why. She was this beautiful girl. Like everything about her was just great. This is not me looking back through rose tinted glasses. Like she was an absolute fucking worldie. To this day, well, I know why. I know why I was able to get it. I've talked about it in a previous live stream. Like I was able to attract this girl because I was playing the game like I didn't have anything to lose. That was my biggest purchasing power at university. I was below average in every single department. However, one thing I did have working for me was my overall mindset, if you can call it that. I just didn't really care because I didn't feel as though I had anything to lose. Anyway, I managed to attract this girl. And then when it came time for us to actually have sex, yeah, I could not get hard with this girl, right? We tried multiple times, couldn't get an erection. She was really understanding, and I think that's super important. If you're a guy and you are struggling with this porn addiction, you're finally with a real world woman. Now you can't get a boner. Now it all feels scary. Like if that girl is understanding and she can help you through it, then that is worth everything. I truly believe that. Without my first girlfriend, we've called her Henrietta in previous live streams, so we'll continue with that name. I really believe if it hadn't have been for Henrietta, then I wouldn't be sat here speaking to you. I'd probably still be wanking myself off to porn. I'd still be a little sniveling victim. Like she did so much for me, like so much. I think that is one of the greatest ways to overcome this porn addiction, this vicious cycle, is to find a woman who understands you, to find a woman with empathy, who's caring, who's nurturing, who's loving, and is prepared to hold your hand through this experience. So anyway, after like I can't remember how many times it was, like 3 or 4 times. We kept trying, wasn't working. I was getting. You've probably been in this position yourself, but no fucker actually talks about it. This where you're with a girl, you can't get hard. It becomes this thing which is in your mind now, and every time you go to have sex or you think about sex, you just can't get hard. The more you think about it, the worse it gets. We just ended up watching 50 Shades of Grey one night, and then I initiated it. And anyway, it finally happened, and it was great, and it was really nice. But my excessive porn use definitely inflicted onto my, we'll call it performance anxiety. Like, because I was consuming so much porn because I was pretty much watching porn every single day after I got home from school, especially when I got my own phone, I got my own laptop, and it created such negative thought patterns around sex. Like it became like sex became this secretive thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like I had sexual shame attached to masturbation because I didn't want my family to walk in. So then I would condition myself to get it over like really quickly, creating so many bad thought patterns around sex. And then when it came to that real world interaction with a real world woman, it's like my brain had been so conditioned to the screen and all of this stimulation, the lights, the plasticity, the fakeness, and you know, the real thing almost felt disappointing in a way. And if you're not careful, this can screw you up where like you basically need porn in order to feel something. Like I became so desensitized to real world like sexual experiences that it really took having that nurturing girl to just like lead me through. It was interesting actually because we did actually watch porn together in our relationship. This was something that we discovered that we both enjoyed, but there was something about collaborative use. I to be honest, I wouldn't do that anymore. I was 19, I was 18, she was 19. It was kind of fun. It was kind of like a kink that we had. We like watched porns together to get some like fucking inspiration. But I would just remove it entirely. But the point being is when you're an excessive porn user like I was, it would open the floodgates for more destructive decisions. Yeah. So if I'm watching porn, I've depleted my energy, and now I might watch junk food. I might be scrolling endlessly on my phone. I might just be staying up like really late at night watching videos. My schoolwork would then suffer. It puts you in this vicious cycle, this vicious consumptive cycle. Yeah. And yeah, the way that it really screwed me up was creating these unrealistic expectations. Yeah, especially when we are super young, it does rob us of our childhood. And if we don't have any masculine role models or influences telling us why it's bad or how it fucks up our brain and the serotonin, like if we don't have that, you don't know what you don't know, right? We're all just doing the best with the information that we've been given. But I really hope something that I've said so far has resonated with you. Like maybe you are in that dark place in your life where you know in yourself that you've got a problem with it. Like you just know. Yeah, like I think that is the first step, just admitting to yourself that you've got a fucking problem. If you've got good people in your life, like good masculine figures, just talking to them about it. I don't think any of us should be ashamed of this, because especially if you're someone and it was just a thing for you young, I don't think we can blame ourselves, but it's about what we're gonna do now. Yeah, if you're like a 35-year-old guy and you've got a porn issue, and because it depletes your desire to actually get out there and meet people in the real world. Do you know what I mean? If you're just wanking off every day, you've got no desire whatsoever to actually go to bars, to cold approach. And this is why I believe in more and more in semen retention, like in this sacred practice of semen retention, because if you're just floundering away because your semen, right? Your semen is so powerful that it can create a life. And if you're just if you're just spunking your life away every single day, depleting the tank, then it's no wonder why you've got the brain fog. It's no wonder why you've got the low mood and the low energy. And society is even worse now compared to when I was a kid, because look at all of the apps. Look at TikTok. Like, I was on the train the other day. Every fucker on their phone, even like the 55-year-old guy, he was on TikTok. He's scrolling. He's just doing this. Like, the attention span is less than a goldfish. A goldfish now. It's literally just like pyong 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 pyong, and it's just scary. Like, there's soft porn everywhere and all of the social media apps. If I go on my Instagram explore page, I'm being bombarded with soft porn. When I was with my mum the other night, I spoke about that story a while ago. Like, the Love Island commercial came on and Maya Jam was wearing this red dress, her tits are popping out, and there's young kids everywhere who are having the tea with the parents. That's getting foisted in front of them. And it's almost just become normal. Like the sexualization of humanity, it's almost just become accepted, right? Because, oh, sex sells. But I think just being aware, just being awake, not being another one of the brain dead masses who is just wanking their life away. And with the robotification of society, you've got AI, you've got AI fucking sex dolls, fucking put your VR headset on. It's like you can be so sucked into the metaverse that you don't even know what's real anymore. So I think just the fact that you're tuned in to this live stream, the fact that you're actually following this type of content, it already tells me that you're someone who's got radical ambition to change themselves, to actually evolve and be on this process of personal renaissance and, like, wake other people up around. But, like, not everyone's ready to receive it, so it is what it is. But no, the fact that you're tuning into these live streams and the fact that you're actually on a mission of personal renaissance, of masculine excellence, it means you can be a connoisseur of content. Yeah, it means that when you go onto your Instagram page, you can actually train the algorithm to give you certain things. So, like, most people's Instagram is just like naked fucking pictures everywhere, whatever. But yeah, just being a connoisseur of content is important. I've made notes here just to keep me on track. Hopefully you're enjoying the live stream so far. Just drop it a like while I take this little lemon water interlude. Drop the live stream a like if you're appreciating the emotional bravery and the no bullshit transparency, because I think these conversations are important, especially amongst men, especially amongst young men as well. I think there's so much bullshit that gets spewed out on the internet. I think it's important. I think it's important to have these raw and authentic conversations where I can tie myself to the mast of the ship. I can venture into the eye of the storm and then blaze a trail for you, being like, listen, dude, don't be scared anymore, right? Don't be scared. Don't be scared to be the full-bodied, emotionally brave version of you. Yeah, being able to say what you feel rather than what you ought to say. If people don't like it, fuck them. They're not your people anyway. Yeah, attract your people and repel the rest. I think this is like the essence of this live stream. It's being that unapologetically honest version of you. Yeah, via brutal honesty, you'll find your people. That's the whole point of this, like brutal honesty, brutal transparency. Okay, so the other reason, this is the part which I hinted at before, and this is the direction that I want to take this discussion. And I know for a fact there are going to be a lot of people who disagree with me on this, and they're probably going to get triggered by the things that I'm about to say. They're going to get upset. They're going to be like, oh, but you're a dating coach. You should be saying this, this, and this. Let's just get one thing clear before I begin this. I'm not a fucking dating coach. I'm not a fucking day gamer, right? The label I attach to myself is a freedom from bullshit practitioner. I use this field of day game of cold approach as a platform to find my people. I don't give a flying fuck about the day game industry or the cold approach industry or fucking red pill or I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. I'm an autonomous individual who wants to inspire a generation of men to live a life beyond the beige, and I want the stuff that I say to resonate with you on a deep level. And if you don't resonate with me, fuck off. I don't care. I only want to talk to my people. That's the only people I want to talk to. Attract my people, repel the rest. So the other reason why porn, in my opinion, screwed up my life, and I think this is another reason why porn screws up the lives of many men, is because it makes casual sex appear cool. Right? Porn makes casual sex appear cool. It makes casual sex appear this aspirational activity. Yeah. So the way that I view the world now, right? The term casual sex is oxymoronic. It's an oxymoron. Like sex is not casual. Sex is the most intimate act that can occur between two people. But now in the current hinterland, this online space that we live in, the dogma, the mantra appears to be, oh, to become a high value man, you just need to get through as many girls as possible. To be a high value man, you need to have multiple relationships. To be a high value man, you need to have multiple children with multiple women. All this blah blah bullshit, right? And it's being digested by young men because they hear a guy who is, let's say, richer and more materialistically successful than they are. They see this guy on his pedestal talking about multiple relationships and multiple wives and multiple children to multiple women, and they think, huh, in order in order to receive love from the world, in order to receive the admiration of the masculine and the adoration from the feminine, this is what I need to aspire to. So a lot of the masculine youth right now are becoming copies of copies of copies, right? Their lives are a walking imitation. Yeah, admiration has become imitation, and I've been in this place where I was consuming a lot of red pill content where I thought the more notches, yeah, the more girls that I got through, the more validated I would become as an individual. But that's the problem with validation. It almost works. Yeah, like you could go and you could sleep with 1,000 women, right? You could sleep with 1,000 women. Does anything in your life actually change? No. Like you might feel like the absolute guy for 2 hours after you've slept with some random girl who you met in a grotty nightclub at 4 a.m. Like maybe a part of your ego, yeah, this ego validation. Maybe you feel like the absolute guy for a couple of hours. But then what I found to be true in my own life and speaking to other guys who've been on this journey, nothing changes. You're still the same guy. You're still the same guy with the same insecurities, the same fucked up life, the same problems, and casual sex becomes this band-aid solution. Yeah, and rather than actually sitting with yourself, asking yourself, who am I? What do I actually want? You just go chasing the next bit of skirt, right? And I've done this. Like when I broke up with my first girlfriend, I went through that hookup phase where I wanted casual sex, not because I even wanted to have sex, but because I wanted my ego validated. And I thought that through casual sex was the ultimate way of validating my ego. Yeah, it's like, oh, this girl must really like me because she is choosing to have sex with me. But like I said, it almost works. It doesn't change anything. Yeah, and I think really I want to be a voice in this space because most people who create this content, they will just utter the dogma, yeah, bro, get through as many girls as possible, be a high value man, high value man, he's sleeping with like 800 girls a year, this is what you need, and if you buy my course then this is what's going to happen. Like I'm in a position in my life right now, right? And I've spoken to God about this, and I know wholeheartedly this is actually what I want. I'm not brainwashed into wanting to want what other people have told me to want. I know in myself what I want now, and I've told God that I'm ready to receive this. Like I'm in a position in my life right now, 27 years old, having an abundance of life experience and all the shit that I've experienced in my life. I'm ready for God to deliver me a wife worthy woman, right? That's what I want. Yeah, I want to find that wife worthy woman who I can do life with, who I can take around the world with me, who understands me, who cares and supports me, who loves and adores the business, like the mission. Yeah, like the best relationships I've had, one girl in particular stands out. She's from California. And I really fucked that relationship up, and I always regret it to this day. People are always like, "Oh, no regrets, bro." Yeah, but I do regret. Everyone's got fucking regret. Shut up. Yeah, this girl from California that I met, and like I I just did so much wrong in that relationship. Like I was cold. I was not emotionally invested into her as an individual. And it's not like, oh, emotionally. Like, it's just like just being a good human being. You know what I mean? Just being a good human being who's got good morals and can actually support another human being. But no, she was so supportive of me. She helped me like grow as an individual. She was super supportive about my business, about my mission. Like sometimes I'll meet girls, I'll tell them what I do, and they're a little bit on the fence about it. She was just like, she was all in on it. Like she had this mission where she wanted to go and build these schools, and I can't remember where it was, like somewhere in Asia. She was like, she was kind of on that path. Like she like we connected over our similarities. Like she wanted to change the world. I want to change the world, and it's just like this beautiful mixing of souls. And when we actually coalesced, whatever, when our souls intertwined, it felt like magic was happening. Do you know what I mean? It felt like something was really changing in the world. I felt more connected, more spiritually connected to her and to myself. And that really demonstrated to me that wow, these amazing cosmic connections, these amazing women, they do exist in the world, and God delivered her to me as this. In the moment, I was like, oh, this is just a happy accident, but I know she was given to me in that moment because, well, first of all, I wasn't ready to receive her, and that's why she was taken away from me. She didn't die; she's still alive, but like, I'm not with her anymore. Um, but God handed her to me in that moment to show me what was actually possible when you're navigating the land of the feminine. And now I know in myself, I'm ready to receive that wife worthy woman. Yeah, I was in that place for a long time where I wanted to have casual relationships rather than going all in with one individual. I thought the thing that I wanted was to have all of these casual empty relationships. The reason being is if I'm having casual empty relationships, you get all the pleasure, but you don't get any of the pain. Yeah, it's almost by diversifying your like pleasure, there's less chance that you can actually get hurt. But if I go all in with one individual and she decides to leave, that hurts, right? Like getting into a relationship, it's the ultimate self-improvement exercise. And there's a difference between getting a girl and keeping a girl. And I think my resistance was in part linked to abandonment, like abandonment issues, right? My mum and dad, they got divorced when I was 5 years old. And I think my resistance to going all in with one girl, it's linked to that. Oh, but she might leave. Oh, she might find out that you're actually not that good. She might find out that you're actually not that cool. Rather than viewing a relationship as the vessel, as this collaboration between two souls and two spirits to lift each other up, right? Like this is what the whole red pill and manosphere, they just don't understand. They think there's just this constant back and forth, these constant games which are being played. And yeah, if you're in a relationship with the wrong person, with a toxic person, then yeah, these games are going to continue. But when I look at my friends' relationships, or when I look at healthy relationships that I've had in the past, it's a team sport. You're lifting each other up. It's like, oh, by the way, I'm insecure about this, and this. Oh, and she's like, oh, cool. Yeah, I'm insecure about this, and this. Hey, maybe we can get together and help each other. It's not going to become this echo chamber of pity. Like, oh, we're both sniveling messes. It's like, this is what I'm talking about. Having the emotional bravery to present yourself as you are, rather than as you feel as though you need to be, because she's gonna find out at some point anyway. I'm not saying you have to just lay it all out on the first date, like give her a fucking list of all your hang-ups and insecurities, but there's just such an alluring confidence to a man who is completely at ease with himself. Like, I've come onto this live stream and been like, yeah, had a porn addiction, couldn't get a boner with my first girlfriend. Yeah, it doesn't get any more emotionally brave than that, right? And the reason why I'm putting this out into the world is to hold me accountable as well. If I can come onto a live stream which gets streamed to thousands of people across the world and say these things, then a part of me as well is thinking that I'm creating this live stream for God to show him that I'm certain on my conviction. I'm certain on my affirmation. And also, if girls are watching this live stream, then it's almost like, when when you've been watching like an actor online for ages, and like you feel as though you know that person a certain way. Like you might have the same type of feeling. Like you've consumed so much of my content now, the brain can't distinguish between if you've met this person online or in person, right? So like if a girl has watched this entire live stream, and if she is that wife-worthy woman candidate, we're on a date, and she's like, yeah, by the way, I watched that live stream. Ha, sucks about your porn addiction, but hey, I appreciate the emotional bravery. I appreciate the transparency. I get it. I get this. I'm into it. It's like you bypass all of the nonsense, like all of like the small talk and the, oh, where did you go to school? What's your favorite color? Have you got any dogs? And it's like, fuck, here's a real fucking man. Yeah, like that's what masculinity is. Masculinity is this penetrative force. Yeah, it's a penetrative force which is able to bulldoze through the bullshit. Yeah, masculinity is not having. It's for me anyway. It's not about having like rippling muscles or being like a multi-billionaire or driving a Lamborghini and having all these like multiple wives and all these fucking shit. No, it's none of that shit. It's just knowing yourself. Yeah, it's knowing yourself, being comfortable in your own skin, and being able to penetrate all of the bullshit that the brain dead masses want to inflict upon you. Yeah, so the porn screwed me up thinking that casual sex, it was cool in some way. Like if you actually think, I've created a list here. If you actually think about like when you're having sex with somebody, and this is me I'm gonna go esoteric, but this is what I believe. If you don't believe it, that's absolutely fine. But I thought, hey, it's good to actually soundboard ideas. When you're having sex with somebody, you are to an extent taking on their DNA, right? You're digesting their energy. So when I was going through that hookup phase, the girls who were taking me back to their place, right? We got back to their place, and usually they would say, oh, like my room's really messy, or before you come in, sorry about the mess. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking, it's probably not that bad, or to be honest, I don't really care. I would walk in, and when I look back now in hindsight, I would go into the room, there'd be clothes everywhere, there'd be dirty dishes which were just like on the swivelly chair. The room would stink. It looked as though it was just an absolute bomb site. And I always wondered, after I'd had sex with these girls, I always wondered why I felt so low afterwards. And I think part of the reason was because I was taking on these women's energy. Yeah, and like if you're having casual sex, I would have unprotected sex, like unprotected casual sex with some of these girls. I'm risking pregnancy. Not like obviously I'm not gonna get pregnant, but like I remember this one girl in Liverpool, and I had to go with her to get the morning after pill because I wanted to make sure she actually took it. But look, it takes two to tango, right? But like I'm taking on their energy. So like why now would I choose to have sex with a girl who I didn't like as a person, right? There's very little satisfaction then. I won't do it anymore. For me, no sex is better than bad sex. Like I feel so invested into my own masculine spirit, my own masculine energy, that I only want to share my sexual energy with women who I actually connect with, and women who I feel as though deserve it. Because imagine you did have a child with one of these women who you met at fucking Tiger, yeah? Your child is going to take on both of your characteristics. So do you really want your child taking on these what's the word where it's where like what's the word for someone who's promiscuous? Fuck yes. Do you really want your daughter taking on these traits of promiscuity? Because I certainly don't. Another argument which I used to tell myself, I think this was just me smoking on the copium, to be honest. Um, I used to kid myself, and I used to say, well, I wanna have a lot of sexual experience now because I want to be experienced. Then when I meet that wife-worthy woman, I want to be able to blow her away, right? So I'm almost using all of these early sexual experiences as batting practice, right? So when I do meet that woman, I'm just going to be able to like rock her world, blow her away. She's going to be so impressed by my sexual prowess. So, I want to get all of this experience. And then someone said to me, yeah, but Christian, think about it. You don't want your wife-worthy woman to know what an experienced guy actually functions like. Like, because if your wife-worthy woman knows what an experienced guy is like, that means she's most likely had a lot of experience herself. And you probably don't want that girl anyway. So, like, do you see what I'm saying here? This was such an epiphanova for me. So, like, ideally, well, no, not ideally. What I want, my wife-worthy woman, she doesn't have a lot of sexual experience. She doesn't know what an experienced guy is like. And what this does, it alleviates all of the pressure that you feel to perform, and it blesses you with the permission to be free. So therefore, even if you get to 27 years old, maybe you've slept with one girl in your life, or maybe you're even a virgin, and you end up getting with this amazing woman, maybe she's had one sexual partner in her life, it's like you connect over your inexperience and you're on this journey together. Yeah, but if your wife or your wife-worthy woman, if she's been ran through by 100 guys and she knows what great sex is like for me, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to be with a woman who knows what experienced man is like. So I think that's just such an important argument because that just blew my reality open. I was like, that's a really good point. So this all like, getting through a lot of girls so you can get more experience. Look, all of this is just advice, yeah? All of this is me expostulating what I think in this current moment. Like, you can take this advice or leave it. It's not even intended as advice. It's just me saying things, right? Like, it's me saying things, and hopefully you're like a magnet and you can attract the things which resonate with you. Yeah, there's no rules to any of this stuff. If you want to go out this year and get through 100 girls, then fucking good luck to you. Or if you are in that place right now where you've had similar life experience to me, maybe you struggle with porn for a big portion of your life, and maybe you're tired of settling for the low quality girls in grotty nightclubs, and maybe you are in a position in your life where you do want to find that wife-worthy woman, then that's cool as well. It's like do whatever speaks to your soul. Yeah, it's like I think we're all operating on our own timeline. Yeah, so I'm not making this to preach to you. I'm trying to educate you through my own education and teaching you how to teach yourself. So yeah, I've said that. I've said that. Most men today are misguided because they've been brainwashed by the brain dead. Oh yeah. So here's a story that I want to share with you. So it was December of last year, right? And I remember it. I'd been out drinking the night before, and I woke up. And I was in such a low mood, right? This was like the December, which had just gone, like so fairly recently. So I woke up in this low mood. I was feeling sorry for myself, and I was lying in my bed. I was naked. I had like half a boner, and I was just wallowing in my own self-pity. Got my phone, got some porn up, and then wanked myself off. And after it had finished, I felt like a complete loser. I felt like a complete loser. I was like even as I was doing it, it's like I was doing it, but I didn't want to do it. Like that's fucking addiction. Like doing something even when you don't want to do it, but it's like you can't control it. Well, no, I can control myself. Again, it's like I can make my own decisions. I was just a little bitch in that moment, right? I was just a slave to my impulses, yeah, rather than a master of my emotion. Anyway, December just gone. I wanked myself off to porn. I've not watched porn in a long time, and I just felt disgusted with myself. I felt ashamed. But I was like, right, listen, it's happened. Yeah, we can't change it, but we can't do this again. Like we're not that person anymore. And I remember reading on Reddit like a long time ago when I was trying to help myself through this whole like porn cycle. There was this guy who commented and he posted, and it's something that always stuck with me, right? And I actually appreciate it more the more mature I've become. He was creating this post on Reddit. I don't know if it's still there, basically about how he overcame his porn addiction. And he had this phrase where he said, identity is stronger than biology, right? Identity is stronger than biology. And what he would do, rather than saying to himself, I'm not going to watch porn tonight, or I'm not going to watch porn again, he would say, I don't watch porn. And I've actually improved it by saying Kristian doesn't watch porn. So you use a third person because it lets the affirmation carry greater emotional weight. But you make a principle out of it, right? Identity, like who you are rather than what you do. Identity is deeper than biology. So when you have these urges and these impulses to flip up the screen and wank yourself off, having this affirmation in place, yeah, Kristian doesn't watch porn, that hits deeper. It sounds as though someone else is saying it, and you've embedded it into a principle. It's a way of being now. And like me putting this shit out there to the world, like I'm not gonna watch porn. Like I'm not going to watch porn because Kristian doesn't watch porn. Also, look, my life is a lot different now. But I think the the devil works in mysterious ways, right? And even when you feel as though, oh, I'm free of this, maybe you've got like a like cigarette addiction, porn addiction, fast food addiction, like we all hit those low moments in our lives. And I think it's those low moments when that really defines us as a human being. It's like, are you gonna wallow or are you gonna win? Do you know what I mean? So I think temptation is going to be everywhere. Yeah. And I'm in a point in my life right now where I don't necessarily believe in the notion of heaven or hell. Like I had this weird thought. I was walking through the lanes of the Lake District, and I was like, what if this is actually heaven? So like the way that I view is like earth, like being alive right now is a spiritual training ground for what comes after this. But like I don't believe in some idyllic paradise. I don't believe in some idyllic state. Like, okay, if we do good here, we go to heaven and then what? We're just chilling. Like, no, I don't believe that. I think there's always a next level to climb. So it's like, what if this right now is heaven? Like what if we are existing in heaven? Because like what is it that John Milton said? The mind can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. It's like perception really is reality. I think whatever happens to us, the inevitable vicissitudes which are given to us, it's all done to serve us, to become the best version of us. So like you might have a porn addiction right now, but you don't have to continue having a porn addiction. You could actually use this vicissitude to springboard and become better. Maybe you can start creating content online and helping other guys overcome their porn addiction. Like you can turn your biggest problems into your greatest superpower. So um yeah, I just think that's important. I just wanted to share that story because, again, I don't want to be sat here in my ivory tower being like I figured it all out. I'm this paragon of excellence. No, I'm just learning out loud and I'm learning by doing. I think you might be curious as well in terms of, okay, if you're not watching porn anymore, then how do you satisfy yourself? Like what's your modus operandi? So for me, it's really simple. I'm practicing semen retention more as this like religious pursuit. Yeah, having this notion of divine providence attached to my ability to retain my God given life energy. But I've got girls in my life right now, girls who I care about, girls who I'm not exclusive with, and I don't know. Like, I'm in a position where I don't know if these relationships are going to continue. Like, there's two girls in question, and because I'm traveling a lot, I don't think these are my wife worthy women. So I think I'm gonna have to let these relationships go in order. I think that's what God wants me to do. And I think it's becoming more clear as I'm speaking now. I think I need to relinquish all relationships that I've currently got. Like I'm going to Bangkok next Friday. No, I'm not saying that I'm gonna find the love of my life in Bangkok. I might do. But hmm, hmm. I don't think the girls that I'm with at this point in my life, they are going to be that wife. Now, yeah, I could continue to enjoy myself and have these nurturing relationships, but yeah, I feel as though that's not what God's plan is for me. I think I need to end these relationships because I think there's always already that understanding that these are not going to be a forever thing. But I think I need to have the emotional bravery to actually pull the plug on it. Like we can still be friends. Like there's nothing like there's not going to be any hard. Well, I'm saying there's not going to be any hard feelings, but um because what happens with me is I have a lot of these nocturnal wet dreams. I've spoken to some of my friends about this and like, wait, what the fuck? Like that's not happened to me since I was a child. No word of a lie. I had one of these last night. I think it was like I don't know if it was like God flowing through me or if it was like my body's way of knowing like what I was going to be speaking about, but I had this like wet dream during the night where I'll have these crazy erotic dreams. I'll like spunk everywhere. That will wake me up, and then I wake up with a raging boner. But like this is my way of seeing like, oh, everything is functioning well, like everything is healthy. Like when I was really addicted to porn, dude, I wasn't getting morning wood whatsoever. Like I was just waking up like as limp as a fucking goldfish. I think that's a really people talk a lot about testosterone. I think that's like another buzzword these days. But if you're not waking up with a raging boner, most days, then I would say look at your diet, look at your routine, look at your porn consumption, look how much sunlight you're getting, look at your supplementation. So I take vitamin D3, I take magnesium, and I take ashwagandha. That's a stack which really helps. I drink water, which has got a fucking sliced lemon in it. That seems to be nice. But just like being active, generally. But dude, just cut out the fucking porn. Yeah, like if you imagine like how much of a loser that you look like you're literally like you wouldn't sit in a room and watch other people have sex. Yeah, you just wouldn't do that. But that's what's happening when you're watching porn. Or if you like look to yourself from a third person perspective, like just like wanking yourself off in a dark room, like just think of how much of a loser you actually look like. There's no wonder why you struggle approaching girls. There's no wonder why you don't have any self-respect, because you can't control your own impulses. And this is me speaking to me, by the way. This is not me like lecturing you. Like I'm just talking like how much of a loser porn actually makes you. And it depletes your desire to actually go out there and meet and have those real world connections. But look, if you are addicted right now, just have a 7 day like no fap streak. Just go 7 days cold turkey. Again, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. What Nietzsche said, yeah? He who has a strong enough why can bear any how. Like you need to actually fucking want it. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same with anything in life. Whether you want to build an incredible business, you want to find that wife-worthy woman, you want to master the art of cold approach, like, you need to fucking want it. If you don't have a strong enough why, you ain't going to be able to do it. It's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll stop watching porn. You watch the live stream, nothing changes. Like, that's a you problem. It's not a world problem. It's not porn's fault. Porn's just a thing. Porn's just there. You're choosing to engage and interact with it. So yeah, let's stop outsourcing blame. Like, yes, porn is addictive. Of course it is, but it's a tool. It's how we're no, it's not a tool. It's our it's our inability to control our consumption of it. But yeah, I think that's a really practical thing. Just go 7 days, no fat. But yeah, point being, these nocturnal wet dreams, like it just feels fucking good. Do you know what I mean? Like it just feels good. I think this should be motivation to actually getting over your porn addiction. Like it just feels good to feel like have this masculine vitality, this virility, like waking up with a boner every morning. Like it just feels great. Like spunking over yourself in your sleep because you're healthy and you've got good testosterone levels. Like that feels good. And it's weird actually, like when I go to sleep, I feel as though I'm connecting with a completely different version of myself, right? So hear me out on this, right? When you wank to porn, right? So if I wank myself off to porn, so I'll wank off and then my erection goes down and then I won't be able to get an erection for a little while. However, when I have these nocturnal wet dreams, right, I will ejaculate in my sleep, but then I'll wake up, the boner it'll still be there, and I feel as though I can come instantly. Like this blows my mind. Like if anybody has the actual science behind this, please let me know, because I'm becoming more fascinated with this, like the nocturnal realm, the spiritual realm. Like when we fall asleep, is it some like avatar shit? Are we entering the real us, or like is that heaven? Is this heaven? Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. But like, why does that happen? Because it's still the same biological function. I'm ejaculating, but like when I'm ejaculating without any physical stimulation from my hand or any mental stimulation, being like right porn, whatever. When this is happening to me at night, it's like I'm almost like this demigod. It's like, fuck, I can have like multiple ejaculatory orgasms. Like I can't do that when I'm awake, but when I'm asleep, it can. Like, why does that happen? It's fucking crazy. I don't know, but I like it, and I hope it continues happening. Is it the ashwagandha? Is it the vitamin D? Is it the lemon? I don't know. But yeah, it's mad. So I don't know if you're, I don't know if you can resonate with anything that I've just said. But if you're someone who has wet dreams and they make you feel good, but you've got no idea how the actual biological function is like this just blows my mind. Yeah, I wrote it down here: nocturnal orgasms. But no, I think yeah, it's just interesting. Do you know what I mean? Because I think there is like, in regards to the subconscious, I think there is a version or versions of ourselves which we are completely unaware of, but which we can access through different forms. So whether that's meditation, whether that's having deep REM sleep, whether it's psychedelics, like there's just shit going on which I can't explain, but it's happening. Yeah, like why can I become this like ubermensch, this demigod, this superhuman when I'm asleep? Like, is that me? Of course it is. Something's happening. Like God is flowing through me in some way. I made a point the other day. Someone was asking me, oh, like, like how has your faith come about? Like, what's like your in terms of your faith, your relationship with God? Like, was it an author? Was it a book? Like, how has this actually occurred? Because you seem to be talking a lot about religion these days. Like, I like it, but like, what was the actual story behind it? And for me, to be honest, bro, it's been a gradual process. Like I have conversations with spiritually inclined people. People like I've got friends who they've done DMT, ayahuasca, that these meditation retreats. Like I've got interesting friends who I speak with. But for me, it's not really been like one thing. It's been a gradual process where, as cliche as it sounds, I feel as though God found me and I'm finding myself through God. Like that's the best way I can describe it. I didn't just like pick up the power of now and be like, right, I'm gonna be religious. It's like it's just a gradual process which has happened, but I'm really loving it. I think as well, just the more I interact with the world and the more I navigate this thing that we call the planet Earth, like I'm really absorbing the complexities of everything, like the complexity of the human body, like I've just described, like the complexity of the world, like how perfect everything. I don't mean like perfect as in like nothing bad happens, but just the actual structure of everything. Like this couldn't have been some happy accident. Like yeah, I believe in this like divine providence, this divine creator. I feel as though you don't actually lose anything by believing, and I think having faith now is really making me more indestructible than I've ever been in my life because I do believe in the mantra that nothing happens to you, everything happens for you. I believe that I've spoke about this, but reiteration is consolidation. You might be new here. You might be new here, so maybe everything I'm saying is new to you. Yeah, the meaning of life now is for me is the fulfillment of a promise. Yeah, that's what the meaning of life is. The meaning of life is the fulfillment of a promise. Yeah, I believe that I made a pact with God which I can't remember, but which I'm remembering. Like I'm waking up to my memories every day that I've been put on this earth for a specific reason, and it's to inspire a generation of men to live a life beyond the beige. Like I am the whole like the algorithm or whatever. It's like it's all just God's plan. It's I'm attracting my people. Yeah, the guys who are in my private network, the Entourage, I truly believe we were always destined to meet. Yeah, we were always destined to meet, and I've found my people so far by creating this content online. That's why I'm trying to get across to you that I'm transcendent. I'm not attached to any particular industry. I'm not sentimental about day game or cold approach or the data. I'm not sentimental. I'm just an autonomous individual who's trying to figure out life, and I seem to resonate with certain individuals who then come and join my network, and life is fucking better when you're actually in a conglomerate of guys who just get it. Like what like I think that is that is part that feeds into this meaning of life is to find our people. Yeah, to find our people, to connect with other like-minded individuals, like actually have these conversations and not feel weird about them. Like how many people in your life right now can you actually sit down on a carpet and talk about this stuff with? Like probably not many. You might not actually have anybody. Like for you right now, I might be your only source of empathy and of connection. Like it's better than not having anybody, but yeah, it's so crucial that you are finding like-minded people, connecting with people. Like I'm fucking happy that you are actually watching these live streams, but this is like 1% of my life. Like these live streams like 1% of what I can give you. But the final thing that I wanted to end on, after overcoming this porn addiction, yeah, after leaving the grasp of like, just fucking being an absolute degenerate, it's given me a newfound appreciation for the discipline of cold approach. Yeah, I believe in the sacred communion between the masculine and the feminine. I believe any self-respecting man should be able to go over to a woman who he finds attractive without needing 10 pints of lager down in first. I don't want to be swiping my life away on a screen, and I don't want to be settling for low quality girls in grotty nightclubs. Yeah, so this is why I say that cold approach is the discipline that takes me closer to the divine. I think cold approach is the gentleman's way of meeting potential partners, but I believe it's God's way. I believe it's God's way of us finding that wife-worthy woman. It's through organic face-to-face conversation. Like the best relationship I've ever had in my life have been with the women who I've met through organic face-to-face interaction. Yeah, I was using dating apps when I was at university, and the girl, like the quality of girls who I was meeting on dating apps, who I was meeting, like I'm not gonna find the woman of my dreams. I'm not gonna find that wife-worthy woman in a nightclub. Like she's not gonna be there, right? She's probably gonna be at home reading some esoteric literature or learning how to be a great woman. Like she's not gonna be in the nightclub. She might not even be on the dating app. She might be, I don't know, but I don't want to use the dating apps. Like I just don't resonate with that style of meeting people. So cold approach is God's way. Yeah, cold approach, day game is this discipline that allows me to connect with my most authentic self. It's the thing that has allowed me to become a better individual. It's allowed me to learn about myself. It's taught me emotional bravery. It's taught me emotional resilience. It's taught me how to go after the things that I want rather than settling for the things that I think I can get. It's taught me that life is not linear. Yeah, rejection is a rite of passage. Like, no one ever told me that this shit was going to be smooth sailing, but a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. And this for me is that's what religions should be. Yeah, I would go far as to say that day game is a religion, that all religion should be a bridge which take us closer to the divine. Yeah, and this discipline of cold approach allows me to do that. Like, you know it yourself. You've been out there for a cold approach session, you feel so connected, you feel this thing, and you can't quite describe it. You just feel so in awe of the world. Like, your food tastes better, everything seems more vibrant, the tapestry of the city seems more rich with color. Brother, that's a religious experience. Like, you can't describe it. It's just this moment. Like, you're so amped up on like natural ecstasy that the whole world just feels more colorful. Like that's what it is. Like that's the religious experience. It's just this, yeah. And that's what happens when you put yourself through the social fire. Yeah, you dive bomb into discomfort. Like this is how we become the best version of ourselves. It's crucifying that former version of us and then connecting with this higher being, this higher power, and this higher version of us. And I truly believe that cold approach is a vehicle that allows us to do that. So that's why I say it goes deeper than day game. So I actually think this has been my favorite live stream. I've really, really enjoyed making this one. I felt no shame whatsoever. I felt as though I can just share. I can just talk and hopefully you resonate with it. And if you don't, that's cool as well. I just think I'm operating in an industry where I see myself as completely separate. Like the majority of gurus in this space, they're all just saying the same shit. Yeah, sex sells, so they want to brainwash you into thinking, oh, I just need to pay this guy money so I can get through as many girls as possible, and that's going to be the answer to all my problems. No, that's not how it works. There's never just one thing. Yeah, you might get the girl, but if you're still an insecure mess, if you've still got addiction, if you've still got issues, the girls are not going to change anything. Yeah, it's about becoming the full, holistic, full-bodied version of you. Yeah, finding fulfillment in many things, slaying your demons, accepting as well that you've still got a decent way to go, and that's fine. Yeah, we're all operating on our own timeline. It's not about being perfect, it's about being progressive and just waking up every day and being like, right, how can I penetrate the world today? How can I conquer not just the world, but how can I conquer myself, my own self-limiting beliefs? How can I be the person that I need to be for my future wife, for my future family? How can I be the person who I actually respect and who I'm proud to be? So yeah, this video has been really dedicated to helping you evolve, helping you level up. If you are going through the whole porn cycle right now, then there is light at the end of the tunnel, but nothing changes if nothing changes if nothing changes. Like, we have to take radical responsibility for our own lives. Like Luke Belmar said, we're all self-made. The person that we are right now is a product of all of the decisions that we've made before we came here. Yeah, not just in this life, but maybe the life before it. But just to keep things simple, like where we are right now, yeah, the money that you've got, the girls you're able to attract, the body, like the shape and condition you're in, your health, your addictions, like you've decided all of it. Whether you like to admit that to yourself or not, you have decided. So the beautiful thing about that is you can decide to be different. Yeah, the way you start is not the way you finish. Just because you've been this way your entire life doesn't mean you have to be this way forever. But it starts with a decision. It starts to like looking yourself in the mirror and be like, right, we've got work to do. I know that I'm not the person that I need to be right now, but creating your personal renaissance document, like if you could wake up tomorrow and be in your ideal reality, what would it look like? Refer to yourself in the third person and actually write it down in a document, and then look at it every day before you go to bed. Fucking when you wake up in the morning, like you're not gonna get there until you know where you're actually going. So yeah, I've really enjoyed speaking with you. How long have I been going for? Fuck knows, quite a while. But yeah, like the live stream. If you've appreciated this no bullshit esoteric expostulation into the Casanovian psyche and personal hinterland of I, then like the live stream. If you don't know what this is, I do live streams every single day because I think they're just fucking cool, and it's a good way. They're therapeutic in a way as well. They let me just get things out there to the world, and hopefully what I say resonates with you. But yeah, like the live stream. Leave your comments below. Comment what your thoughts are. I'll be keen to hear from you. But yeah, we'll do another live stream. Gonna keep going with it. Yeah, love you. Speak to you soon. Appreciate all of yous.